Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Willfully Wrought. My name is William, and today I got a little bit of dash time while I was at work. Got to just drive and listen to some good music.
Oh, I love that. Love that when that happens. My name is Will, and I'm sidetracked by this amazing Violanta shirt that my co-host is wearing.
Oh no, not at all. Oh, okay, listen.
Oh, it's a
Uh,
T-Rex. I
it's a
looked like
it's a
Violanta.
dinosaur.
Oh
That says
no!
roar. Uh,
This entire time I've been thinking that it was like one of the heads from Violanta.
it's a little closer to good old Godzilla than Biolante, but I'm not opposed to wearing a giant plant tentacle monster T-shirt. I just don't own one. And then up to this point, I'd never thought about searching for one to buy, but I think I'm going to now. I could use more shirts with tentacles in my life.
Yeah, well, not just that, but it's an alligator-headed rose bush with headed tentacles. Like it is Audrey 2 on steroids, right?
Very much so. I'm
Fantastic. How are you doing today, man? It's so great that you got to drive during work. That's my favorite part of working is when I get to get in the car, put on a podcast, and just drive.
you know, I like outside of that, work had this up and down. I mean, it's work, man. Like
Right?
there's days that you really enjoy, and then there's days that you don't enjoy. We're in the middle of a lot of project work being laid in our laps, and of course the rules about how we're doing work is being changed around. But getting an opportunity to just hop in the car, go to do something specific, and just listen to good music is something that doesn't happen often enough,
Oh
and
yeah,
it's something I just really enjoyed.
I would agree. I would agree. Love my zone time, my zone in time while driving.
Oh,
Now,
zone time? That's
well,
a that's
okay,
a
listen, we're going to put a disclaimer. Always pay attention 100% when you're on the road and driving. Never drive impaired. But it is nice to put on some tunes, a podcast, and just drive. So,
yeah.
always fun.
There are some other times that I just kick on music and well, actually, honestly, like music kind of drives my life. There's definitely those low points where I'm basically inconsolable, but if I
Oh,
kick on some music, I can usually bop my head to it and get moving and get out of that bad groove. And one of those places is the shower. I bought a waterproof speaker.
yeah.
Bluetooth is one of those little JBL goes, and
Yep.
I definitely kick on music and put it on the speaker and just set it in the shower and just let it play. I don't know why I couldn't, set it outside the shower or anything else. No, I had to have a waterproof speaker to play it like directly through the splashes at my face.
Oh,
Apparently,
yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I had one as well. It had a suction cup and it would just pop right on, right?
yeah.
The thing is, I always hated taking it out of the shower to charge it because you never knew if it was going to be needed to be charged until after the shower. So it was always wet. So you were like, okay, I have to let it dry. And then you'd forget about it until you took a shower the next day.
Well, yeah. I mean, you could just plug it in the shower. Maybe
I
that.
mean,
Maybe not. Maybe you
maybe
know
not.
what?
Maybe not.
Let's not throw fuses. This is ladies and gentlemen. Please don't pay attention to the advice that William gives in regards to electricity. William is not a certified electrician, and William doesn't understand that running your phone charger into your shower to plug in your waterproof speaker is likely far more hazardous to you than it is good for the life of the battery of your speaker.
That's right. That's right. Please, please pay attention to this disclaimer. Do not put electronics in the shower or bath with you while you are bathing. Hazardous to your health.
So, did you get any dash time at work today?
I'm not at work right now. I am still on vacation. I have family and
Beautiful.
friends in from out of town, and hence why I'm in a new location. Right? I'm in a secret, undisclosed location where kids who can play freely at the house don't have to be quiet for my behalf while we talk about silly things and tell people to listen to electronics in the shower.
Well, I want to know two things about your new background. One, it has like some tech in the background,
Sure
and that's like
does.
super appreciable. Like, it's nice to see like technology in the background, especially like we occasionally bring up technology, and it's super cool. But it also has like those fake conference room background vibes. I could definitely see like being on a video meeting at work, and you're just a guy in his office, but that's the background you chose to put up. I think the only difference would be like in place of the television, it'd be a window to the beach. Because I think any of us, when we were on a meeting, would be at somewhere that had a window to the beach and would be in front of a laptop instead.
Well, to put all of those at ease, just a second, just to prove this is real. So it's real. It's real. So it's real. Not a fake background. But no, the tech over here that's for Zoom meetings and making sure everything works. Everyone who cannot be at a meeting can still be at a meeting. Isn't the 21st century grand?
Dude, I love technology. I think that's obvious. I don't think there's anyone who's ever met me was confused as to whether or not this guy likes tech.
See, for me,
it's a big part of my life.
I just thought you were 100% like go out into the wilderness and if you survive, you survive type of guy.
I mean, that's also true, but my likeliness of survival is much lower than most people would say. Uh, I'm very upset. I'm very accepting of awful circumstances. Uh,
Sure.
but speaking of the advancement of technology, we have quite a list of things on
Yeah, we do. We
on topic
do.
today. Like, we usually we try to bring up like five, maybe six stories to spend some time on. But today, I think we have eight that originally started, and a couple of them are definitely going to take up more time than others. But yeah, we have some technology, we have some political news. Actually, I think
Yeah.
that's the whole of our. It's science, a little bit of tech, and some politico for everyone today.
That's basically that's all that's going on in the world right now, William. I don't know if you've looked outside, but it's technology taking over, technology doing amazing things, science doing what science does best, innovating, improving our lives, and also maybe not for the better, but also definitely for the better.
Oh yeah.
And then politicians being politicians.
Oh man, I'm so strong. I have such strong opinions about politicians being politicians.
Right?
But to,
Or politicians being business people.
either one. Yeah, it depends on
Yeah.
depends on where you like to define your own politics. Which I
Mhm.
guess is kind of the age we're in anyway, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
God, that's the truth.
but I think we're gonna kick off today with a little bit of politics first. Then
Mhm.
we're gonna jump into what I consider the more exciting things,
Yes.
and then we'll get moving forward. So the first thing we had, this is a story that you had presented, where the Donald Trump is supposed to meet with Vladimir Putin in Alaska here. You want to introduce us to that story?
Yeah. Donald Trump is meeting with Vladimir Putin to discuss the end of the Ukrainian invasion. Notice there's someone really key to that discussion who isn't invited to that discussion.
Maybe some representation from Ukraine would be nice in the discussion of cessation of
Yeah.
warlike activities.
Yeah. Not necessarily like, I with everything that's been going down, with especially since Trump had that press conference with Zelensky. God, that was only 2 months ago.
That was only
Two or
2
three
months
months.
ago.
2 or 3 months ago,
Jeez, dude.
man. Yeah, it feels like a year, but yeah, 2 or 3 months ago. Um, I really have toyed with this idea. Like, this is what non-Nazi Germans probably felt like watching, you know, things go bad. Like, oh no, am I not on the right side? Am I not on the side of good?
It's the entire Russia Ukraine conflict, which for those who kind of forgot because it wasn't a headline for years, started a really long time ago. A lot of
Hmm.
people forget that it was back in 2014 when Russia, well, according to Russia, they annexed Crimea. According to most of the international community, that is not what happened. They invaded Crimea. So it's a matter of perspective in that. But this is a conflict that's been going on for at least a decade. Not to mention any tension and dissent that occurred prior to that, before it was newsworthy enough for the world to latch onto it and
Yeah.
make it something that was in the headlines every day instead of what some pop star was doing.
Yeah. I have real problems with how our elected officials are handling this situation currently. Primarily with them saying, well, all Ukraine has to do, like, it's in Ukraine's side of the court. They just need to surrender, and then the war will be done.
Oh yeah,
I have
they
some,
just
I have
it's
some,
such a
yeah,
thing. And when people just say that, uh, they're not in a situation where they're. I don't know. Let me start this off correctly. Yes, you can make the statement that all that Ukraine has to do is surrender the land, and then the conflict will be over. If you reduce that from something that's happening on the world stage where you're judging it from outside, and you put that in your own micro
mhm,
ethical circle where, you know, assuming that something happened in your neighborhood and someone aggressive took a large chunk of your backyard and
mhm.
maybe and killed your dog in the process, and they're going to keep doing that, and you're expecting the rest of the neighborhood to say something, but they're a little bit scared. And then whenever the powers that be finally get involved, you hear a lot of their friends whispering, all you have to do is just give up your backyard and the aggression's over. uh, and I know that it's a lot more complex than that.
It
And
is, but also even simpler. Imagine you're a childhood. Imagine you're in grade school, and a middle schooler comes up to you and just consistently takes your lunch money, and you want that to stop, but everyone tells you, well, just keep giving him your money, and you won't. There won't be any issues anymore.
yeah, and I mean, not to mention the, it wasn't a month ago whenever we heard, oh, okay, well, they've agreed to a ceasefire, and then like 2 days later there were more missiles being fired.
Of course
uh
there were, because Russia will never cease firing until they get what they want. It is, and let me fix that. Russia will stop when Vladimir Putin gets what he wants. I'm gonna,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, yeah. I mean, of course, there's members of the citizenship that are on that side. Let's not
of
let's not
course,
pretend like it's just a world leader thing. Like there
yeah,
are definitely there are definitely his constituents that agree with what's going on. Not to mention like the interpersonal relationships of the people that are actually in that part of Europe. Like I'm not from there, man. I can't really
right.
offer anything more than what I see in the headlines and how I feel about it at my gut, and it just doesn't feel good. No matter, of course, if the end result of this is World War III, that's awful. But if the end result of this is a country losing its dominion over its own land, that's also awful.
Awful.
Like there's no happy ending to something like this. And
Yeah.
having the parties discuss this without involving both sides of this conflict feels even more gross, honestly.
Yeah, it really does, because you're getting into a situation where you're discussing the fate of people not as people, right?
Yeah.
Because you're essentially at this point disregarding an entire nation and figuring out, well, they can be Russian,
Hmm. Well, it's a
right?
yeah, dude.
It's nasty. And now, even today, um, a statement was made in the UN where all European countries are gathering together to prepare for. Um, I don't want to say war, but they're preparing for conflict where U.S. backing isn't there.
Yeah.
So we're drawing up sides.
Well, yeah, that's not the first time that's happened,
Right.
and not the first time at this scale either.
Yeah.
I and I would love to say that we definitely don't have a lot of the information that's going on. I mean, just like the propaganda that rolled out in the 30s and 40s. I mean, propaganda is rolling out now.
Hmm.
It's difficult for us to take a look at the news that's being presented to us and really make like effective, fully knowledgeable decisions because
Yeah.
we don't know what we're not getting.
Right.
And but
Yeah.
there's no right now, like as an American citizen, this feels gross. I feel like if I were to travel and for somehow ended up in Ukraine, that I'd be targeted, or anyone that strongly. I mean, if I was to travel in the U.S., I feel like I could be strongly targeted because of
William,
the actions of our administration. You know.
I live very close to the Canadian border and have talked to people who have vacationed up there. Um, and I've been told repeatedly, don't go. Not a good time
Yeah.
to go to Canada.
Oh man, that feels weird. Feels
Doesn't
weird.
it?
Yeah.
Doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah.
You know, it reminds me of a time that I played Civilization a long time ago. As for
I'm
those like
so excited for this story right now.
oh yeah, war, it's fine, right? No, I was playing this game, Civilization, and there's multiple ways to win
Mhm.
Civilization. You can run around decimating your enemies, and or you could win through trade. There's also a culture victory that you can attain. I remember at one point I was focusing on like marketing, like I don't even remember what I don't even remember what I was putting together, but I remember a country seceded to me in front to my civilization, and the opening cinematic was we tried to sustain, but now every young girl in our country is wearing your blue jeans and listening to your rock music, and I was like, oh, okay, what a weird thing to say, and I glossed over, but that's one of those things that's now bouncing off my bouncing around in my head. There's a lot of things that a lot of countries around the world, at least as presented to us, they take part and enjoyment in American culture. And I think a lot of us have been like, oh, cool, they recognize that. And now I feel like, if you emphasize similar values while traveling abroad, it makes you a target. Well, I mean, not just for people who want to steal your wallet because you're, a
Because you're a
tourist.
tourist, right?
Yeah, but people are like, oh, well, that's an American. American's doing some stupid shit right now. I need to go let them know how I feel.
But it's a two-way street. Just in lighter things, K-pop Demon, which is based heavily on Korean pop culture, is still the top of the charts right now. It
Well,
is the
yeah,
summer. It's the soundtrack of the summer. It is the movie of the summer. Nothing can touch that. And while that was made by Sony, which is inherently a Japanese company, um, although diving very hard into Korean tradition and I, not so much culture. I think culture is definitely part of it. Um,
yeah.
but I mean, I would think that there's some American jokes, there's some thing, but it's definitely heavily inspired by Korean pop culture. I love like yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah,
that is the positive side of that, right? That's
yeah.
the positive side of a united planet is that we can all engage and all celebrate these cultural differences for what they are, right? I would love more movies to have female characters look at their love interests and their eyes turn into corn on the cobs and buttons on their shirts shoot off, turn into butter, hit the corn on the cob eyes, and then the women start crying popcorn while one of her friends are eating said tear popcorns out of a bowl. Like, yeah, that's fantastic and awesome.
It definitely feels good. Uh,
Yeah. But that's
but
the positive side of this. And with the good does come the bad. And we're seeing a lot of bad.
yeah,
And I would love to say that this is growing pains as the I am in support of Oh God. Xanda Weiss, thank you, says, then read more romance novels, Will, and watch more anime. I watch plenty of anime. I tell you to watch anime. That's my wife, everybody. Uh, but yeah, I mean that's the good side of the coin, right? Um, we just had, yeah. Sorry, Xanda. Just I got derailed a little bit there. We're
No,
good
no,
though.
it's fine. It's fine, man. It's watching this stuff happen and the chilling side effects of it, and
Mhm.
it doesn't feel good, but it
No,
go
but
ahead.
I remembered. It came back to me. I am in support of a unified global front, right? I believe in Star Trek, the magic of Star Trek, right? I want a ship bridge to the go explore space with Russian and yes, Xanda, you are the tangent queen. Um, um, with Russians, with people from Japan, but we're all from Earth, right? And
Yeah,
I would love it if humans just stopped killing humans. I understand that there are some humans who we don't agree with, and there are quite a lot of humans who I don't agree with.
yeah.
Um, but my father believed in the statement that absolute power corrupts absolutely. And so far, I haven't seen that proven wrong. And that can be power, influence. I'm sure Mark Zuckerberg was a decent guy before he became, a billionaire.
Well, I mean, I just don't like billionaires. I don't really have any use cases other than all the problems on the planet aren't fixed yet.
Yep, I'm right
But
there with you.
it'd be cool if some of those resources went to improving the lives of others around you instead of improving the lives of others around you by any means necessary.
hmm Yes, I agree.
So
I agree. I agree.
but
Um,
we won't know the outcomes from that meeting until, I mean, honestly, probably next week. It's supposed to happen tomorrow,
yep.
up in Alaska, and I'm sure a good chunk of the world will be watching, and anyone who's live streaming is going to take any sentence they can out of context to support their case. And as soon as it's actually concluded, we may get some information, or we may get some more misinformation we have to dig through to figure something out.
William, speaking of that,
Mhm.
who would you say you trust most to give you your news, especially in a situation like this? By the
Me.
way, these aren't sponsors, these are just people we like.
Me. And listen, that makes me a crazy person. Like I get it. I understand that the perception is that if there's someone out there who trusts themselves for a source of information, uh, then they're gonna be in the wrong. And I'm definitely in the wrong sometimes. But what I'll say is when it comes to something like this,
Mhm.
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get on the internet and I'm gonna do research before I decide what I believe is actually happening. I can't just read a headline or just read an article about what I'm seeing. Like in the case of, like, well, to bring it back like internally in the US, if I'm going to read something that's being presented about the Trump administration, I'm not just going to read the article from Fox News. I'm going to read the article from CNN because I'm going to believe that both of those articles are going to take the statements that they want to exonify and they're
Mhm.
going to magnify them to 1,000%. The truth is going to be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
And whether you think the truth is further left or right, I don't care. That's on you. But
Mhm.
when I read those articles and I do my research on it, that's what I'm going to look at. I'm going to look at actual court victories or losses, actual overturns. And I'm not going to say that, oh, okay, well, this is based on how people feel. Well, that's what they're projecting to their audience. So you really
Yes.
do have to go and find out what you want to believe. Now, where do I start that research? Which is probably where you're coming from. I mean,
Yes.
I have probably 4 or 5 places that I get articles from. One is never Facebook.
Yeah.
I
No,
used
never
to I used
Facebook.
to want to try to come back to Facebook, but that feeling is entirely gone now. I gave them money and we got ads. And I was paying to advertise to them. Like, isn't that awkward?
It
So
is. But
yeah,
also, when we were advertising on Facebook, we both you and I were getting like bot DM messages for like sex and
yeah,
stuff.
that's
Like,
that. That's not what I
Insane.
wanted. Yeah, it's not
No.
what I was after.
He wants that.
So one, never Facebook.
Never
Two,
Facebook.
I try not to go directly to a news outlet.
Mhm.
Because a news outlet like Fox is going to have a much more conservative leaning message.
So real quick,
Yeah,
quick correction about Fox. Legally speaking, they are an entertainment station. They do
yeah,
not do news.
and they have an entertainment section that they call Fox News.
Yes, they do.
So, so I'm not going to start at the mass media outlets. Honestly, items like perplexity articles that get generated where I can go and review their sources that are part of the article. I like that. Applications like Ground News, which let me go and look at several articles simultaneously and then look at reviews of that article about which way they're leaning. I appreciate that. It's a great place. You've got social spaces like Twitter and Blue Sky. I will see things on those platforms and be like, okay, why are people feeling like this? I'm not going to take somebody's post and be like, well, there's the gospel, guys. We got that. It's not where I go with it. I'm like, why are they saying these things?
Have you? I can't bring myself to do it, but have you dived into Truth Social?
No, not at all.
Yeah, neither have I. That's not.
No, I'm not interested in that because I know what it would be before I got there. I don't need to ask why before I got on that platform. You know what I mean? And I was actually really hesitant to download Blue Sky. And I already had X on there, but that wasn't for like the social content. It was because it gave me direct access to an AI model I want to play with, and all the rest of it also just happens to be there.
Right.
But and that, of course, led to me. Sometimes I doom scroll X between things, and it's like, well, this is all trash. But occasionally, I'll see a post from a creator I appreciate. But those are the places that I go to start on news. Like if I see something that I care about or see something that piques my interest, I add it to a personal notebook that I review later.
Perfect. Yeah, I think that is a good process that I would love for our listeners to also take and use and utilize.
Absolutely.
Because yeah, apparently truth is hard to come by these days.
Oh, it is. Then so much energy goes into like, there's a editing term, demussing.
Or spin. Just spin.
There's a lot of energy that goes into getting rid of the extraneous bullshit that get attached to the context of whoever's producing that. I mean, even the news that we present, like, because I mean, honestly, our content lately is primarily reactionary.
It sure is.
Even what we're presenting has our own spin on it. I'm emphasizing the things I care about. You emphasize the things you care about. Like there's no one that's like truly guiltless in the kind of presentation. So it's not always a at fault trying to influence thing, you know?
Right. Yeah. No, absolutely. But anyway, that's our first news story. There we go.
The second one is, because we like to try to keep all of our politics in one place.
One place. That's right.
The second one also involves Trump and what's going on in Washington D.C. You want to kick that one off, Will?
Yeah, Trump has ordered the National Guard to come in and protect Washington D.C. from all the crazy Utes that are roving around and punching people and abusing good, hardworking Americans. So he's ordered the National Guard in to be quote unquote peacekeepers. It's unfortunate that he wasn't able to do that on January 6th. Sorry, that may be a little incendiary, so I apologize.
No, hey man, you feel how you feel. I mean, that's there are people that feel that way, and I get it. And honestly, this feels a lot like L.A., man. We're the National Guard showed up for a couple of weeks, and If you were paying attention to conservative news, it was the same repeated 17 clips of them doing something positive. And if you paid attention to like left leaning news, it was just a bunch of pictures of a soldier sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah. So again, and with all things, truth is always in the middle.
Yep.
Ultimately, with this, I just want everyone who's listening, either in the future or right now, know the Epstein files still haven't been released.
Of course, and they never will. We will never see those.
But this is what he does, right? This is his tactic. He something that could be really damaging to him is in the news. So he's like, I'll send the National Guard somewhere, and that story will take its place. So.
Oh, I mean, it definitely seems like that's happened at least twice.
Yes, it's definitely happened twice, and it's weird that it's happened twice because now
if you had a dollar,
right? It's a pattern. It's a pattern. So yeah, I mean, ultimately, while I am horrified at what he is doing, this does have the air of I am now digging my own grave faster than what I was previously. Yeah, I mean, listen, Trump as the president does have the wherewithal and the right and the ability to order because Washington D.C. is under his stewardship too. He has the power to call in the National Guard.
Yeah,
he said there's a national security issue. We don't. If you're interested in hearing the why, I would recommend you looking that up because my opinion on it, which from what I've researched, was that a former Doge employee by the name of Big Balls, that was his, I believe, online moniker.
Oh yeah, that was his tag or handle.
His handle, Big Balls, was assaulted by a 15-year-old woman. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but was assaulted by a young person, which then basically prompted this reaction. Roving gangs of abusive youths are wandering the streets of DC. Never mind the fact that crime is on a steady decline in Washington, D.C., and has been for quite some time. Again, this is all smoke and mirrors to draw people's attention away from issues that actually matter to the American people, because he's creating fixes to problems that don't exist.
Well, here's what I'll say. Sure. I agree with you like 99%.
Yeah.
I do think that the entire National Guard deployment to Washington, D.C., which is taxpayer funded, by the way.
Yeah, we're paying for that.
I do think that if we had a different president in office, and I'm not trying to like start like red or blue, but if we had any other president in office, they could also be red. That it could be, it would be happening very differently or not at all. I do think that them being sent there is primarily to draw media attention, to draw all of our attention away from things that are going on. I, up to this point, had never heard that crime in DC was bad. Like never once had that come across any headline. Now I don't live in that area. So maybe that's it. Like, you hear about like bad crime in the area around you. Sure. And occasionally something will happen on the news that gets elevated, like some extraordinary criminal activity or presence or thing that happened. I'm going to highlight Xanda real quick. Thank God the National Guard's here to protect the poor men from the scary women. Listen here, Xanda, you better watch out. There's some real scary women out there, and some that have genuinely frightened me. All right. No, I do feel like the entire thing is being conducted before us to keep us looking somewhere else. Now, I don't necessarily believe that it's entirely the Epstein thing. I don't think anything would have stopped I don't think anything would cause those files to ever be presented to us, short of like someone directly grabbing them and bringing them to us. But at this point, we know exactly what would happen if that did happen. Let's say some hacker, let's say the guys who broke open the T app, also got a hold of the actual paper Epstein file somehow and presented them. They would all immediately be discounted as lies and fabrications. And the number of people that believe that those were a lie versus that those are the truth is probably not too far from equal, honestly.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. It is unfortunate that we all know that he's in those files.
We all assume.
I mean, there were.
I mean, I think he is personally. I think he is personally, but we all assume. We don't know.
This is true until we see an unredacted copy, which we will never see.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, they're protecting. They've literally redacted names to protect predators.
Yeah. Why are we protecting people around a predator?
That's
at all.
We shouldn't. We shouldn't. Yeah. I don't care what side of the political aisle. I don't care who you are. It could be the Dalai Lama. I don't care, right? If you're doing these things, you're a monster, and you need to be outed.
Yeah, doing, facilitating, or sponsoring.
Yes, like, I mean, no ifs, ands, or buts. I think everyone is in agreement to that. But why are we protecting predators?
Yeah,
because they're rich.
This goes back to the billionaire thing. I don't like them. In any case, I don't think it's just the Epstein files. I think this Russia-Ukraine thing. I think this AI thing. I think this nuclear power plant thing. There's a lot of things happening very fast. And I do think that the 10 minutes we've spent talking about the National Guard in DC is entirely intentional because we weren't talking about those things.
I would agree.
And I think what we'll see. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was like, let's talk about the important stuff now.
I've got one more prediction. I think that in the next 30 days, it's going to come back. There's going to be a lot of reports about the great things that they did. And there's going to be a lot of videos of a few incidents where they did something positive. And I genuinely believe that there will be some positive things accomplished. And I don't know what the scope or scale of that will be. But I do think some positive things will happen. And then we're going to see a lot of videos and pictures of all the things that they didn't do while they were there and how all of our money was wasted. In the next 30 days, we'll see those things.
Yeah. I would agree. I would agree that I would hope that some positive comes out of this.
Yeah, me too. I genuinely hope for some positivity. Like with the shit sandwich that we've been served, no matter what kind of garnish is on it, all we can really do is hope that there's something positive that does happen here.
Now, here's a crazy thought. And this has just popped in my head. What happens? And this is fantasy, right? We don't know what's going to be talked about, but this is
alrighty.
What happens if Trump promises weapons to Russia to help in the Ukrainian invasion, which I don't think is going to happen, right? I think they're both too savvy for that, but also maybe they're not. Like, I don't know.
I think if that happened, it'd be entirely behind doors and we would never see or hear anything about it. It would be something that we wouldn't be aware of. I mean, we know the U.S. sells weapons all over the place, and we know that it goes through so many hands that by the time you count the fingerprints, there's no telling who's owned it.
It's true.
Yeah, but I do think that could be, that could be another piece of news that the National Guard is there to obfuscate.
Could be. Yeah. Do we have any more political news? Oh,
no. That's the end of politics. We can stop being depressed for a moment. Oh, no, wait. I've got more depressing news. Give me just a moment. I do love. No, this one strikes a little closer to heart. It's I care about it more than politics, and unfortunately, it's inextricably tied to it. So Wikipedia, Wikipedia recently lost a court challenge in the UK for trying to get out of being part of the COSA Act, which is currently circulating in the UK. And for those who aren't aware, it's the Kids Online Safety Act. It is there to make sure that, if you're viewing content on the internet, that you're viewing the appropriate content for your age. So you better present your state-sponsored ID and show it to a camera for them. So this is something that's going on in the UK, and it's also starting to happen here in the US with some YouTube content. If YouTube is unable to appropriately determine your age, it will ask you to verify who you are before you're allowed to view what they consider more mature content. Wikipedia said, no, hey, you wait a minute, UK government. We're Wikipedia. You don't need, this isn't about maturity. This is just factual information. And the UK government said, whoa, wait a minute. Even though you're a nonprofit, you are in the right category. That if people were to read what's on your site, it could be incendiary, to coin a term that you used earlier. So Wikipedia is going to begin to have to ask people for age verification prior to letting people read or edit the content of Wikipedia, at least in the UK. And I wanted to bring this up because I'm that kind of evil. We talked about censorship last week, and it's something that we've talked about before. I'm fairly anti-censorship, and I'm not going to say like staunchly, because you can say censorship and mean positive things. I mean, in this sense, this doesn't make any sense to me. It's basically a live dictionary or a live encyclopedia, hence its name. And you have to prove how old you are to read about history.
So this makes me uncomfortable, because this is a nation slapping essentially a sanction on what do you call it? A virtual space, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It doesn't have the intention of what pornography may have, right? It doesn't have the intention of even a 4chan, right? It's Wikipedia.
Yeah, it's Wikipedia. It's there to be information.
It is there to be information. Yeah, this makes me very uncomfortable, because, I mean, all countries have the right to not censor, but like limit what websites can and cannot be used. We talked about this several months ago, God, with TikTok. Right? Right? I don't like this.
No, it's awful. It's awful. Dude, this whole thing has me pissed off. Let me jump into like that awful territory where we're just making speculation.
Sure.
I think that these are the first few steps of tying everyone's real identification to their online presence. I really think that that's what this is. It's going to be age verification for all the large platforms. Well, except for maybe Facebook. Maybe they can fork enough money over to not make that a thing. But you'll probably have to use your ID to keep your account at some point. And
my ID should only be reserved for police officers who are bored and clock me going 5 miles over the speed limit, and proving that I'm over the age of 21 so I can buy liquor. That's all my ID needs to be used for. And voting. That's important too, I guess. But,
the important things. Not for watching videos on Facebook. Not for reading a Wikipedia article.
Right.
So it's going to be something that becomes normal, and a lot of parents are going to support this for their kids, because there are a lot of parents out there, and I almost said parents in the general sense, but you're a parent, so I don't want to attack you. Um, a lot of parents don't want to put the energy into policing what their kids are doing online. They don't have time or they don't care enough to do so. And they're like, oh, well, why isn't YouTube verifying the, well, why could my kid watch this video on YouTube? YouTube's hosting it. They're responsible. No, you're responsible for the information that your child has as they encounter the world. You're responsible for how educated they are and what reactions they have available to deal with that.
I agree 100%. As a father whose son really enjoys YouTube Kids, where I have to, right now he's really into Minecraft videos, just watching YouTubers play Minecraft,
Yep.
which is fine. But every once in a while, yeah, there's some things I don't want him seeing. We police that. We limit his screen time. I do want to say the UK has always been, I would say, a front runner when it comes to censorship and censoring
yeah.
people. Let's just get that out of the way. And yes, to any of our UK listeners, I am bagging on you and your history.
Yeah.
Because
all both of you.
all both of you, right? Yeah. I have a friend there who I need to reach out to and find out if what what they feel like is going on because she's boots on the ground, right? I want
Yeah.
to see what's going on there in regards to this story because this is God. You've said this phrase probably every time we've spoken about AI,
Mhm.
but it's also true for this in this instance. Um, this is the freest the internet will ever be.
Yeah. It's going to get locked down more and more. Honestly, it is just something that whether it's driven. I mean, I personally don't think it's driven out of actual care for the children. Like, for the children is the baseball bat we use to beat people who disagree with us.
This is also why we have the MPAA for movies, right? Our rating system, which I would say is flawed, incredibly so.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it does come. They say that they do it so that they can give parents the power over what your kids can and cannot see. You want to know what the ultimate power in choosing what your kids can and cannot see? The death of the movie theater.
That's true. Well, especially when it comes to that, a lot of the younger kids, they're not really going to theaters. There's definitely not a lot of tickets being sold, and not just due to like economical and financial constraints.
Right.
It's not as popular of a thing. It's phones are their portal to the world.
They sure are.
And it's definitely something that I use on the day to day. But I will always prefer a computer whenever I'm interacting with a screen, or I'll always prefer a television when I'm just watching a screen.
So, do you remember when we were in college? God, this is a long time ago. I won't say how long ago, but it was a late night when you were probably supposed to be patrolling, but instead you were talking to a schmuck like me. And I told you, I said, why is it that the internet isn't free for everybody? Because the information age, which I think we're seeing the end of, the tail of, we're moving into something else. We're transitioning somewhere else.
I agree with that.
I firmly believe that internet should be a human right. Having access to the internet, we should not have to pay to have access. It should act as a public library, right? You should have access to this because in order to be a informed citizen, you need to have access to all of the news. And we don't, as a society, especially here in America, we don't necessarily, well, to steal a phrase from George Orwell, some citizens are more equal than others.
Yeah, I do believe that access to the internet highly influences your quality of life,
Yes,
especially in the current age. There's going to be people that disagree with that, saying, "Oh, hey, you can live happy after it." Yeah, sure, you could, but I couldn't. I like being connected. I
Yeah.
like this flow of information that I got to decide how I feel about it. There's a lot of real funny shit out there. I watched a dude get kicked in the balls the other day, and I chuckled out loud.
The best piece of American humor that has come to light has been a meme. I firmly believe this is a meme of a painting of a man holding a goose, where the man has a caption and it says, "I'm a people person," and by the goose's head it says, "I'm a geese goose." I don't think American humor has achieved anything higher than that. That is the funniest shit I've ever seen. And you can quote me on that. Nothing is better than that.
No, it's the Online Safety Act has been a huge pain, and it is just something that I don't like to deal with. Oh no, we lost your connection, Will. You'll come back to us. I'm not worried about it. You'll be frozen in a fist pump motion forever. Are you back now?
Can you hear me? Oh no.
Wait,
Hello?
I've got. Hey, I can hear you now. Welcome back.
Hey, thanks. I guess I can't highlight users.
You actually can. I can see it highlighted on my stream. I'm not looking at our live, so I assume it works out. But yeah, Xander, you're absolutely right. Of course, Instagram is going to get people's location. I think, didn't they toggle that recently to like default? Or no. Whenever you sign up, it's now defaulted that you give them the location and you have to opt out. I think that's the thing. I'm not entirely sure.
It's either way. If that's the default, that is scary.
It's real skeezy. Like,
yeah, but they've been selling this information for a long time too.
Yeah, but I think that the current children are going to grow up having to verify their age, and by the time they're adults, they're going to have to log into the browsers that they want to log in, and then use their state-sponsored ID to log into their account that works on across a good chunk of the internet. That's where I think this is going, to put the tinfoil hat on, and it makes me sad. It makes me really sad that that's the way things are going. And that was the last piece of depressing news I had.
And the last piece of depressing news I have.
Oh, that's good.
Yay, we get to the fun stuff now, the good stuff.
All right. So I wanted to highlight a story that popped up for me. The Curiosity rover out on Mars. Okay, so you've seen coral, right? Like deep sea coral, like that you can see it like all fossilized, and it's this white bone, like brain shaped lattice, or sometimes it's like these bush shaped pink and yellow things that you see popping out of rocks in the underwater
rough.
video.
Yeah, really rough when you touch it, when you touch dried. Yeah, absolutely.
It, in my opinion, it looks like sponges grew into trees. That's what I think coral is.
I think that's an apt description. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not a marine biologist. I'm definitely missing a lot of things, but coral is just sponges that grew into trees. And the Curiosity rover on Mars recently took a picture of a rock that was about the size of a walnut that looks strikingly like coral. Now, of course, our reference of what this rock looks like, this coral-shaped rock that Curiosity found, of course, like, oh, hey, that looks like coral. Now, Mars probably doesn't know what coral is. Maybe it does. I don't know if we know that's billion years of history, but a lot of scientists took a look at this and say that it really looks like liquid water rushed across the surface of the planet and then settled into a lower elevation and solidified. And I just think it's some of the coolest shit out there. The idea that Mars may still have liquid water in places that we can't see is super exciting. I do think about Mars a lot. It's one of our, well, at times it's our closest celestial neighbor, and other times Venus is our closest celestial neighbor. I don't count the moon because we're going to talk about the moon in a minute in a different story.
Sure. Okay.
But It really looks like water, like carried a bunch of minerals into a coral shaped depression on the ground and solidified there. And
It's it's really exciting. It's really exciting, and I like you. I The idea that there is water, if there is in fact water on Mars, which I think at this point it's safe to say that there probably is.
there
We know for a
probably
fact that
is.
there was for a fact there was water. Mars used to be very Earth-like, right?
Yes. That's what it
It,
looks, that's what it appears.
yes, it appears that Mars was very Earth-like. Um, I want to find some fossils. And hell, when we find the water, because I do think, like you said, there is water, we will find life forms.
Yeah, do you think there's like bacteria on Mars or
I do.
viruses, or do you think there's some microbial form of life? Do you think it's currently alive, or do you think it's all fossils?
I would. Life finds a way. Okay, I do think that there is life. I think now there is a lot of debate over whether or not viruses are alive, are a living thing.
Yeah.
Which I'm not going to get into because smarter people than I are confused by it. So we're not going
Yeah.
to get into that. But I do think that there are some single cell organisms. Um, because I mean, if I'm being honest, I firmly believe that we come from single cell organisms, right?
Yeah.
Um, I mean, insofar as every single person on this planet originated as a spermatozoa, and then became a multi-celled organism, right?
Yeah.
So I yeah, I think that there are single cell organisms um, living on Mars. I
Oh
think
yeah,
it'd be
man.
cool if there were multi-cell organisms living on Mars, but we won't know until we get there, until we bore into the Martian Earth, Martian
Well,
ground, I should say.
yeah, the Martian soil,
Yes.
to tear into that. Like I can't wait. When you think about when I look at art, this is going to be sorry, a whole bunch of word vomit, but I'm gonna try again from the top. Uh,
Got it.
Whenever I see a picture of an archaeological dig or anything about the Grand Canyon, and I get to see like
Mhm.
all the stratification of the different ages,
Yep.
it always gets me really excited, and I hope that I live long enough, like biologically, because I think digitally I'll live forever. I hope that I live long enough biologically to see that kind of excavation on Mars. I really want to see what it looks like when you cut, 50 or 60 feet down into the soil and you have just this straight line. Like what do the ages of Martian pass?
That, yeah, I would be. It's an exciting time to be alive, right?
Oh
It's an
yeah.
exciting and terrifying time to be alive
This is
because
way better than politics.
way better. Yeah. Like I said earlier, I believe that we can move towards a Star Trek utopia. I really do.
Oh yeah.
We just
Yeah.
have to want it.
And what better platform to start looking at Mars than from the moon?
I would agree.
This one popped up and it made me really happy. What do you think when you hear the term regolith?
Uh,
Regolith.
that's a Pokemon.
No, it's not a Pokemon. Actually, it may be. There's like 5,000 of them, some bitches, and I damn sure couldn't name them all. And I'm sure that if we were to include like a list of 100 things, and some of them are Pokemon and some of them are not, and I had to guess, unless I recognize the name, it's a coin flip, man. Like
Right.
so regolith is the term used to refer to lunar soil.
Okay.
In that, like when you go outside and you pick up a handful of dirt off the ground and like you hold it up real close, maybe get a microphone, magnifying glass out, not necessarily a microscope, but
Hmm.
you can see the grains of sand and they are round-ish. I
Hmm.
mean, some of them are, hexagonal or dodecahedral. Uh, but in general, they're rounded, and
Sure.
The largest belief on that is that's due to that's due to erosion and the weathering of rocks. It rounds off the soil. It gets eroded into those shapes because those shapes move easier across one another. There's no erosion on the moon. So
Mhm.
the fine particulate, the dust, the sand, the soil is all extremely coarse, triangular. I like to think of Doritos that you can't munch. Like that's in my head what I think of with like a Martian soil.
Interesting.
There's no erosion up there, so the particulate never gets rounded off. It's all sharp, and it's the term that's used to refer to it is regolith.
Okay.
Now, there is a group of there's a group of Chinese scientists. I don't know the name of their group. I couldn't pronounce it or read it if I wanted to. Uh, but they have demonstrated a process using strictly solar power to collect regolith in large samples and using solar power to heat it into basically magma until the point that it's malleable, 1300 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. Like, do you know how to convert Celsius to American?
I'm an actor, my friend.
Okay.
I no.
Okay. No, now I'm gonna see 13. I'm gonna Google this. I'm like breaking my rule again. And Fahrenheit. I even spelled Fahrenheit wrong. So 2,372 degrees,
Jeez.
which is estimated to be high enough or hot enough to melt the regolith down. Now, what they do is they then form it into bricks that are not unlike Legos or Duplos. Like they don't have that square shape with all the little nubs on top.
Right.
And that they fit together and
Yeah.
like sitting a C within a backwards C. And they're putting together a process for they're making building materials out of the surface of the moon.
Now this is the key to space travel, my friend.
Yeah,
This is the key because this is the only resource that the moon can use, which and if this building material is good enough, uh, we're gonna we're gonna be this is the first step to becoming a Star Trek
yeah,
like
exactly, man.
civilization. This is it. This is literally the building block to that.
Exactly. Like it. Not only does this process work out, but the process is entirely automated. They
Yeah.
did this in isolation for 3 months using an analogy, a fake regolith,
Mhm.
to put the soil to have this device use solar energy to make these bricks and make them available. So the idea is that they're expecting to deploy this to the moon before 2028
Damn.
at the South Pole. Like they're talking about putting a machine up there to make building materials out of the surface before 2000. That's only 3 years out, 2.5 years away.
How are they getting the material then?
They're going to be shipping a whole assembly up there that its sole purpose is to excavate material, run it down a production line using solar energy to make these compressed bricks and then poop it out the back of the machine in a pile. I assuming an organized pile of some sort. I haven't
Sure.
seen the schematics. Uh, so that someone could show up later and use these bricks as building material in the partial construction construction of a structure.
Wow.
That is
So
wild, absolutely
it
wild.
it is, and oh, this is exciting. This is
Yes.
exciting, but this also means that this is now a new landmass that we are all going to be hunting for, especially if this material is valuable in production. I mean, it's untapped, right? So there's infinite possibilities for this, right?
Yeah, I think
Um,
the moon's about 1,000 miles in diameter. So I don't know what that works out to on the surface of a sphere. There's definitely some math out there that
mhm.
could help out, but I don't know what it is.
But that's all that's there is the dirt, is the sand.
Yeah,
So, oh man, exciting times.
I'm really. What shape do you want your moon house to be?
honestly, I want to build it myself and see what the fuck I can do with it, right? 'Cause that's what I always did with Legos. Um, this is cool. I mean, do we
It's
know anything about the material? Like, is it like, does it have its own internal like insulation? Does it insulate well? Does it?
well, that I don't know. They've only done this with what is with a an analog to like moon dust or moon soil, moon
So
sand,
they
moon
haven't
dirt.
actually tried it yet.
They haven't. There's not enough material that's been brought back to even form a portion of any one brick. Like
Got it.
they're gonna be sending this machine. Well, assuming everything goes well, um, they're going to be sending this machine up there hopefully in 2028 to hopefully start building these bricks. And I bet they'll have a webcam on it. I don't know if they'll live stream it though. I'd be down for that.
This is some yeah, this is exciting. This is like unmanned going like this is science fiction come to reality. Like
Oh yeah,
I
dude.
cannot be more excited about this. Um I yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting. This also means that all you need now is just another robot to build dwellings on the moon for you, and you're that much closer to terraforming.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You get your base of operations, a place from which to work, and you can go forward from there.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's
Oh
amazing.
yeah.
I don't. I would need to. I didn't. I should have figured that we were going to be diving into this, but I wonder how hard it would be to terraform the moon. I really do.
Oh, to make it like so you could just live on the surface of the moon like you do the surface of
Yeah.
the earth. I don't think it's
Mhm.
possible. I don't think that there's enough gravity to hold enough of an atmosphere.
Oh, sure.
And until we learn to manipulate gravity on that scale, I don't. And even then, we probably wouldn't want to our
Right.
closest celestial, our actual closest celestial neighbor.
Yeah.
Uh, now, there may be enough gravity on Mars. I do think there's a lot more potential for Mars. I think
Mhm.
if the core of that planet is indeed active, of all the things we've ever seen on Mars, I don't think we've ever seen an active volcano. Um,
No, we haven't. But we
uh,
do know that there are. I'm trying to remember. We know that there are ice caps on Mars.
yeah, we assume. Well, I don't think we've been to them yet. We assume they're primarily carbon dioxide ice. We do
Got
know
it.
it's very cold. We do know that there's wind,
Hmm.
but we don't really know. Well, actually, we do know a rough estimation of how thick the atmosphere is, but we don't know. We also know that the magnetic field of Mars is very, very weak
Yes.
by comparison to Earth, not just by scaled down like the size of the Earth versus the size of Mars. Mars is about 60% the size of Earth.
Right.
But even at that, like the magnetic field is much weaker than it would be if it had the same setup that Earth did. So
Nice.
we'll have to see. We'll have to see when we get there, man.
And it sounds like we're going to be there in about 2 years, as long as the world is still here.
Oh, it'll be it's just fine. The world's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about
You're
it,
right.
man.
The world is fine. We aren't. We aren't.
You had sent in. Speaking of longevity, a
Yeah.
little bit of biological news here. And actually, these are both positive things.
Yeah.
You sent in an article in regards to a brain organoid. You want to talk about that for a minute?
I do. Did you ever think that you would utter the phrase brain organoid?
No, I'm pretty sure I didn't believe that organoid was a word. Um,
Neither
it's
did I.
it would never pop up as a wordle guess. You know what I mean? I wouldn't think to put that in a crossword.
Right. Oh, I'm sure it's popped up in like the New York Times crossword, but I'm too dumb for that. So no organoid existed as a word. But no. So Johns Hopkins University had some researchers, and they created the world's first whole brain organoid that integrates tissues from all major brain regions with neural activity mimicking that of a 40-day old human fetal brain. Why is this exciting? Uh, this is exciting because this organoid contains 6 to 7 million neurons and retains about 80% of cell types found in early human brain development. Uh, what this means is that we can now address neuropsychiatric drug development properly because 96% of neuropsychiatric drugs fail in the clinical trials because the only brains they can test them on are non-human right now.
Yeah.
This is exciting.
This is super cool. Yeah.
Right?
Okay. I'm not going to cross the. We're gonna sweep the ethics under the rug.
Yes.
Let people be mad. Be mad. We're not going to do that. How cool is it that they're making mini pseudo brains?
There's no ethics to it. These brains are literally like, you're not killing animals, you're not killing people, you're not taking brains of fetuses, right? You are
Right.
literally, and what the article also goes on to say is like they grow parts. They grow parts of
Yes.
the brain and then fuse them together.
Yeah.
Like awesome.
They're using what they refer to as sticky proteins.
Yes, sticky.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is either.
Yeah, I don't know either.
but it's so cool, and this is what progress looks like.
Yeah.
Right?
So, absolutely. I to tie along with this actually, I had kind of skimmed the article prior, but then I watched a Kurzgesagt video about alcohol and its effects on the brain. And one of the primary points is that, we've known about alcohol forever, but we don't know exactly what it does in your brain. We know it makes you think slower. We know it messes with synaptic firings, but we don't know exactly what it does in those neuron connections. And little brain organoids like this would be something to help us study that. So it's not just in like the study, not just in the development of new neuropsychotics or whatever the appropriate term is for brain drugs, but it's also in the study of things that have been around for years and years and years and years. Like we know that alcohol murders your liver, and we know that it slows down your brain, but like, what does it really do when we're a little afraid to hop into living human brains and study the neurons while they're firing because it's, potentially awful to the person getting studied. But now we have a little brain organoid. We can study that, and it'll be super cool.
Yeah, and you can, again, I don't think ethics has any part in it. I think it would be unethical to not do it.
Well, I agree with that statement. But here's what I'll present.
Okay.
they get the neural material from stem cells. People have a problem when you just say the word stem cells because they hear that, and there was a commercial on the TV at some point when they were watching the news that said stem cells come from aborted babies, and it upset them, and that's what they'll believe forever. That's not what's going on here, but that's where they get some of the early neural tissue. Secondly, if this is like the little brain organoid and it's actually, they can see synaptic firings, how far do we need to go before it has a consciousness? We also don't have an understanding of consciousness.
All right, so I guess we're gonna have to figure that out before we.
No, we're sweeping that under the rug. Like I said, we're pushing the ethics out of the way. We're ignoring all of that. Brain organoids are cool. If somebody that wants to have that conversation, they can. It's not me.
That's us, right? No, I there is way more good, and ultimately, I feel like this is super close to being like, well, we're gonna connect AI to one of these brain organoids, right? That's where my head goes.
Yeah, gonna happen.
It definitely could. It won't for a while. I hope I'm not the first person to have that thought. God, if I am, and I'm the downfall of the human race, I'm sorry, people.
Good job.
Thanks.
Proud of you.
Yeah, thanks. But we know a lot about the brain. We know a lot about the human brain, but we still have so many unanswered questions. And this will help answer a lot of those. It really will. And it's going to help us develop medicine. It's going to help us develop new ways of taking care of our literal mental health. This is progress.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. The study of the human brain really only happens in like two places, but proxy, like by wireless proxy,
Mm-hmm.
by looking at, some sort of resonance imaging of what's going on in your brain and making guesses as to what external stimuli causing what to happen in what brain for that user and how applicable that is to the broad use case,
Yeah.
or via direct interaction with the brain. Not to drag Elon Musk through the mud, because enough people do that, but the whole Neuralink thing, like
Yeah.
they were shoving wires deeper into a dude's brain to see how it affected him. Had some really cool effects. We learned a lot about that part of that dude's brain. And as much as we all made fun of that, OpenAI just started talking about developing a chip to hook to people's brains. So
Yeah.
it's okay. You can keep tracking them. hey, so somebody certainly needs to. We know how I feel about billionaires. All right.
Yes. Yeah. I think this time I want to see more of this. I didn't tell you about this, but I felt really strongly about this story. A couple weeks ago, for the very first time, I donated plasma.
Okay.
Um, and it was a very interesting. I've done it twice now, mostly because I wanted the free $200.
$200 for plasma?
Yeah, I went. Well, both times I got $100.
Okay, got it.
And that plasma is going towards uh, medications, right?
Yeah.
Development and helping that outreach. Now, that is a humanitarian way of looking at that. Another way of looking at it is that I now am a part of a of a machine that is interested in only making money, because these medications we have to charge anyway. I don't want to get too
that's not where you want to focus. Got it.
That's not where I want to focus. But you did mention the stem cell thing, and it's just funny that we have these dichotomies. I'm going on a tangent, and I shouldn't, but it's just yeah, it's just back to brain organoids. More brain organoids, please.
More brain organ. Yeah, I'm super down for more brain organoids. I do think that we're gonna see more news about this kind of thing in a few years. But I don't think we're gonna see anything for a while.
No, I don't think so either. However, with this comes the possibility of an actual head transplant or brain transplant coming down the pipe.
That'd be super cool. I personally don't believe brain transplants are possible, like in any level of technology, until you get into science fiction.
I agree. I agree with that.
I think that and without getting ethical, I think that who we are lives in our brain, and not just our brain, but the entirety of our nervous system. From your spinal cord to the nerves at the tips of your fingers. I think it takes the whole thing to be who you are, and I think a brain transplant is just wild. But so it makes me wonder. But if we can grow specific types of cells of brains and then glue them together with sticky proteins, could we grow part of someone's brain that's missing and put it in there? And stick it to their current brain and let it make pathways? Does that work? Is that a thing we can do yet? I mean, not yet, obviously.
I mean, so as of right now, and again, we're talking science fiction at the moment.
Yeah.
Because these brain organoids are still fetal sized, right? They're not fully developed brains. They're close, and I think with the
closer than they've ever been. Yeah.
Yeah. It's only a matter of time until we start doing this. And I think absolutely. I mean, think about brain damage, just regrow another part of your brain. Now, I do think that, like you, I think what we are born with and who we are will permanently be here and can never be moved. I don't think the information that's here that could go away. However, I do think that you could replace it, but then I think you're I think you have to relearn certain parts that brain was housing, right?
Yeah,
You have to relearn those things because it's a blank slate.
yeah. Xanda asks, could that be something that helps with dementia and Alzheimer's? Honestly, Xanda, this is going to be like layman guessing, but I'm going to say maybe.
Hmm.
I'm not 100% what causes dementia, and I'm not 100% what causes Alzheimer's. Like it's not something in my family that I've looked at very closely, honestly. Now I know about them, and of course I've seen like some headlines that say it's one way or the other, but nothing that I can really draw enough of a conclusion from other than it's a thing that happens and not because you got a bacteria. It's a something
Hmm.
happens with our bodies and our brains don't fire right no more. That's my extent of knowledge on dementia and Alzheimer's. Now, do I think that maybe growing like some fresh brain and sticking it in the right places might help solve some of those issues? You know what?
Maybe. Sure.
Yeah. I do know that when dementia and Alzheimer's become advanced enough, I know people like have trouble maintaining their identity and the identity of others. And
Yeah.
if we can put some brain in there to help out with that, that'd be way cooler than getting someone else's brain and putting it in there and seeing what part of them showed up with them, you know?
I would agree. However, my thing, and this is something that I think goes along with aging. If you put in a new brain, that's a fresh brain, or not a new part of a brain, right?
Yeah.
That is a young new brain, and I think that is going to start relearning. I don't think you get that same person back. But also, with the new brain, you give a new brain to someone whose body is on the downward slope, right?
Yeah.
So in my and God, I promise I'm an optimist, but to me that almost sounds like a horror movie, right? You have a new brain, part of a new personality forming while the body is actively dying. I don't know. I mean, I think that this is something that should be explored because I think more and more people are and I don't know if it's more and more. I think more people are being diagnosed with
Yeah.
these um, uh, titles, right? Dementia and
Yeah.
Alzheimer's. I think more people are being diagnosed. I don't think we would ever know if those numbers are rising or lowering because we're looking for different things now.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
But I don't I don't know. That's a fascinating take, right? Um, can you give someone whose body is aging a new part of a brain which is fresh? Would they keep their identity? Oh my god, I'm just like I'm
You're
building
going
a
off the rails, man. You gotta you're writing a novel. All
I
right.
am.
Listen,
I am.
we're asking simple questions. We just need a yes or no, Will. Yes or no.
I'm gonna say yes, but it might be lead to my horror film coming out in
Well, okay, no.
2028.
So I have no idea if this is true, but this just triggered a thing in my brain.
Sure.
I remember reading a story once about a guy who got a heart transplant.
Okay.
And the person who was a match for donating the heart, and of course they passed away. But the families were kind of familiar with one another. They weren't like best friends or neighbors, but they were acquaintances. And after the heart transplant, the recipient took up some new habits and got some new favorite foods that were much more in line with the deceased, the one that passed away.
Oh.
And it was turned into like a nervous system study because whenever you receive an internal organ, it's not just that organ. Like it's got these nerve clusters. There is a cluster of nerves in your heart.
Hmm.
Now I don't know how much of like personality that retains, if any at all, but I believe that your whole nervous system makes your personality. So yeah, I do think that some personality could travel like that. So do I think that like untainted brain could make some new connections, make new habits? Maybe you suddenly learn how to waggle your pinky all special. Um, I think that'd be super fun. Xander recommends to go watch the movie Return to Me.
Mm.
I don't know what that is, but sure, maybe.
I don't know what it is either, which is funny. I'm the resident movie
Is it
guy.
about Captain America's shield?
No, it's not. No, it's not about Thor's hammer either. Um, funny. I was actually thinking of the story "Flowers for Algernon."
I'm not familiar with that at all.
Oh, "Flowers for Algernon" is about a person who's mentally handicapped, and then through sci-fi medicine, uh, is no longer handicapped, becomes brilliant.
Oh,
However, the illness comes back. It was only temporary, and then reverts back to where even worse to what he was before they
oh,
received the what do you call it? The treatment. Oh, Xana just told. Hold on. There's the premise for Return to
Return to
Me.
Me. A man's wife dies and her heart goes to a woman who needs a new heart. A few years later, the man meets the woman who got the heart and falls in love with her. Oh, so kind of like the story I just told.
Yeah.
Almost exactly the same thing. Okay, maybe. Okay, that was just a story I remember reading once. I had no idea if it was true or not. But I'm definitely not the only person who's ever heard that story. If a movie was produced with that premise that a part of you lives on after your death. Okay, got it. So now I'm curious. I wanna like make a real case study. I'm gonna put this in my notes here. Just this is gonna be just like lab grown meat for me. Like I want to track this story down. I want to see what Snopes has
Okay,
on this story about this organ
but
transplant
romance.
recipient. Well, okay, not about romance. Listen, the only romance I watch, you have to verify that you're 18 to watch it.
Oh man. You're careful. You're gonna have to start showing your driver's license with that
Oh,
stuff.
that's true. True. Xander, you misspelled butt. Um,
You're 12. God.
Before this degenerates any further, Will, do you have any further closing comments and remarks?
No, I don't have any more in regards to this story. Other than I love that I love our takes. You're like, this is great. This is wonderful. And I'm like, this is a horror movie.
Hey, you really like horror movies. You're still saying
I
it's
do.
great. It just has a weird spin on it.
Yeah. I guess that's where I am right now.
John's not here to spell it for you, Xanda. All right.
Do you have anything else to say about this story?
Oh no. I'm actually good here. I think we did have one more story, but I'm going to toss that out. We're butting up against our time.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say, yeah, dude, microbrains are super cool. Organoids.
Organoids.
Yes.
I did want to say in the coming weeks, we are going to be having a guest on to talk about Alien Earth. This past October, we did a deep dive into the Alien franchise, and they have a new TV show, the very first Alien TV show in that world, and we're going to be talking about it. So I'm very excited. I've already seen the first two episodes. They are the only two episodes that are out, and I'm very, very excited to continue that conversation with both you and our future guest.
It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I haven't watched it yet. I need to. I do want to note, like along those lines, there's been a recent rise in like aliens content. I've also seen that a Predators series came out, or a Predator
Oh my
movie.
God! Have you not seen it? The two new Predator movies are coming out. One is
No,
already out on Hulu, called Predator Killer of Killers. It is an animated anthology film. It's about 90 minutes, and it is spectacular. I really enjoyed that. And then the Predator Badlands is coming out, directed by the same guy who did Predator Killer of Killers. It's live action, and it is from the Predator's point of view.
Oh, so he'll be our protagonist, or she,
Predator
or
will be
whatever
it.
Yalgita is.
I think it's a he. I think it's very masculine. I don't know if the predator race has women.
It
Honestly,
probably
they could be
does.
asexual. I don't
Maybe
know.
they have eggs.
Maybe. But that movie is going to be released theatrically, and I'm very excited about that. Also, um, it does seem there is an android, according to the promotional materials, and apparently that android is from a Wayland Yutani owned android, which Alien fans will recognize as the the big bad corporation of the Alien franchise.
Of course, of course. Like
So yeah.
I'm excited for it. I've also seen it pop up in like comic books.
Mhm.
So it's just it's weird that it's making that circle around again. But no, I think I think that's all I've got, man.
Yeah.
If you're
No.
if go ahead.
Oh, no update for Final Fantasy this go around. We've had lots of family in the house, and I've decided to be social more. So,
Well, that's
but I
good.
will be giving an update on Final Fantasy VII the next time we talk.
Awesome, man. I haven't been playing anything new at all. So
All right.
if you're still with us here, subscriptions, comments are super
Yeah.
awesome, and we appreciate those. If you're new, of course, please like, subscribe, comment, and all the things that you're supposed to say.
Yeah.
At that as you
Share. Click
wrap
on
up
the
a
bell.
video. Yeah. wait, we have a bell.
Oh, everyone on YouTube. That's what they give you. That's
Oh
complimentary
yeah.
when you
Oh, a
have a channel.
complimentary bell service. Yes.
Yeah.
But thank you for joining us here at Willfully Ron. We'll be back in a couple of weeks.
Peace.